For joining us for this session. This is the Small Club Success Story session where we plan to share some amazing experiences and successes of clubs all around New South Wales. As a small bit of an intro, my name's Billy Johnson and I'm the Communications and Commercial Manager at Bowls New South Wales. And the best news of this session is you won't have to hear much from me after this. So, with that, across New South Wales, clubs are finding new and innovative ways to engage with the community and generate new members. We're thrilled to have 3 clubs represented today to share their success stories and hopefully inspire other clubs to start their own journey. With that, I would like to introduce and thank our 3 presenters today. From Lowlands Bowling Club, we have Director Wendy Mason. From Nambucca Bowls Club, we have Treasurer Graham Porter. And from Parks Railway Bowling Club, we have Secretary Paul Lewin. Graham, Paul and Wendy, thank you for joining us. As you will hear throughout the presentations, each of these clubs represent hundreds of small-sized clubs that exist within our state. We hope you can take plenty of information and insights from the presentations today, and we encourage you to take advantage of the final Q&A portion that we will hold at the end of this session and ask our wonderful presenters and questions on their initiatives. A reminder too that if we don't have time for all questions, there's still plenty of time after this session to get to know our presenters, ask any questions, and hopefully learn from their experiences. With that, I'd like to introduce the first speaker out of our 3 panels today, Graham Porter from Nambucca Bowls Club. Oh, I'm sorry, Wendy Mason from Lowlands Bowling Club. I practiced that. Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks, Billy. Good afternoon, everyone. Over the last 3 years at Lowlands, we've increased our membership by 63%. So we think that is a significant success story. And today I'm really happy to be here to be able to share with you just some of our experience. But before I do that, I thought you might like a little snapshot of our club so that you know a little bit about us. We're an inner city Newcastle club. And because we're called Lowlands, people, and it's not the name of a town or a suburb, people have no idea what Lowlands is, but it's an inner city Newcastle club. We have 2 synthetic bowling greens. It's one of the oldest continuous clubs in the state, certainly in Newcastle. And we probably have at least 6 other bowling clubs within a 5-kilometre radius. So there's tons of competition. It's not like the only club that people could come to if they wanted to play bowls. We currently have 230 bowling members, 520 social member, and as of this year, our first junior member. I'm really going to spend the 15 minutes talking about how we went about increasing our membership. But before I do that, you really can't do it without having the backing of a really successful licensed club. So our club manager, Michelle Gorton, has worked tirelessly to try and continue to promote the club, find new ways of encouraging people, getting the patronage experience really well. And together with our bowls coordinator, Brett Gemmell, has done just a great job in that. You can see from the 3rd picture down there an outdoor all-weather entertainment area, if you like, function area. That is something that's been really significant in terms of the success of our club doing that. It's now enclosed with glass, which means it's an all-weather. So in terms of success in the licensed club, music, fun, bowls, it's a fun place to be. And the Barefoot Bowls is something that we've encouraged. There's young people there, there's young music. You know, you walk into the club and there's a sense of life. And music on a Sunday afternoon, cocktails, catering. It's a place that when you walk in feels like, oh, this is going to be a fun place to be. So that's a bit about the licensed club. How did we go about attracting new bowlers? How do we get that increase in membership? Well, the major strategy I want to talk to you about is we ran women's only bowls clinics. So what we did, we partnered up with our local, what you would know as workers' education group. So adult education that ran a whole heap of different recreation courses, some business courses, whatever. We saw the idea they were running tennis clinics for women. We thought, let's do a bowls clinic. And so back in 2022, we ran our first one. We partnered with them. And in that way, we tapped into their client base because they were advertising to hundreds of people in the district, and it helped us improve the network we could go to. We also advertised around the club, got people to come that way. Now, there was a fair bit of paperwork involved in that part because we had to have, to put it up, you had to have a program, you had to have working with children's checks, you had to have a qualified coach, the premises had to be checked for 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻, there was insurance, but that part, once it was done, is now sort of completed. So it was worth it that first time. It was conducted by our club coach and by our bowls coordinator. So on the left-hand side here, you see our club coach, Cole Friend, and on the right-hand side, Brett Gemmell, our bowls coordinator. This is from that very first clinic, these photographs here. And the main emphasis of that was just get a bowl in your hand and deliver it. Like get straight into it. There wasn't a lot of theory. Yeah, there was obviously this is how you hold the bowl and this is how you deliver it, but it was like, let's just get in and play bowls. The club purchased 6 sets of Taylor's bowls in small sizes so that these participants didn't have to use the social bowls. You know, they got a good bowls experience. And it was a very minimal cost, $40 for a 4-week course. And for that $40, you got your 2 hours, 10 to 12. On a Tuesday, you received social membership, bowling membership of the club till our next financial year. And you also received a club shirt. Atwea, the workers' education group, got half the money. So you can see at $40, it was definitely a recruitment strategy and it wasn't a money-making strategy by any sense of the imagination. Now, in that very first clinic, we had 10 participants. 7 of them joined the club. So that was a 70% uptake in that first one. And in fact, one of our first participants from that is now our membership chairman. So they stayed. Well, it was one thing to run the clinic over 4 weeks, 2 hours a week, but there was no obligation for those people to stay on. It was like, well, how are we going to keep them there? So we timed it to coincide with the Ladies' Bowls Gala on the Tuesday. It ran from 8:30 to 12. We made sure this was 10 to 12 so that it was finishing at the same time as the gala. And our members invited the others that were participating in the clinic to come in for lunch. On the last day, week 4, some of our existing members went over and played a game with the new girls from the clinic. So again, they were being integrated into our club. They received a handout about what else was happening at the club, what they would have to do, what opportunities were there for them. They got their club shirt, and then we said, you can come in and play your first gala for free. And we got their name and their number, and yes, they'd come. And the VP recruitment rang them and said, you're right for next Tuesday, aren't you? So we kind of made sure they were there. But I think a really successful part of that strategy was that those girls trained together, and when they came on that first gala day, they came as a cohort. They already knew each other. They'd had a bit of a game together. They weren't coming in cold. They kind of knew what the routine was, what the club was like. And I think that idea of the cohort is a really successful element of the strategy. So, of course, we decided that it was a successful strategy and we ran more. And you can see up there the numbers. So in 2022, we had 20 participants. We had 34 in 23 because everybody heard about it and said, oh, this is a good thing. People started coming. And then in 24, we only conducted one clinic this year. But you can see the uptake is, it has been very strong. It's been very, very successful. It's interesting that of the participants too that came, many of them came from the local golf club, and it was kind of like a couple came first. You know, bowls is really daggy, golf's more special. Then a couple of key people came. It seemed to be, oh yeah, that might be an all right thing to do. And now we do have quite a number of people that are golfing and bowling at the same time. Can be done, ambidextrous. So an unexpected outcome was of those women participants, 9 of their husbands joined. So that was an unexpected but a great outcome. So when we started on a Tuesday, we would have about, in 21, we would have about 16 women bowlers at our gala. This week, we've had over 50. In October, we've had 50, and we're averaging between 40 and 50. So it's been, in that sense of increasing membership, very successful. So, okay, we recruited them. How did we keep them? And how did we integrate them? The first one up there with those lovely bucket hats was one of the strategies we had for building team spirit. And that was, we had a trip away. We went up to Foster. We called it the Trip Away Trophy. You won this most magnificent trophy that cost $1, but you had fun. And that was a really great bonding experience with the girls going away. Now, again, a bit of an unexpected outcome. In order, I think there were about 25 girls that went. We set up a WhatsApp communication group just for the girls that were going away. But this has become the communication strategy that our lady bowlers really like and use. Yes, we get the formal emails from the club, but that WhatsApp group is where we're doing a lot of congratulations. So can I tell you last night, just to have a little brag, when Lowlands won the Innovation of the Year award, the club, that WhatsApp went off. There were, 50 responses in terms of how excited everyone was. So that's, again, a bit of an unintended outcome, but was very, very good. And the only other thing I will say here in this is the other significant thing we did in terms of keeping those members was we spent a lot of time developing their bowling skills. Because remember I said all we did was get a bowl in their hand for those 4 weeks? There was nothing in that about etiquette rules, that sort of thing. So we had to spend a bit of time on that. We started with a program called Green Queens, and that went for an hour after every Tuesday gala. The experienced women bowlers worked on that program, and it went and, in fact, was based on skill level. It changed. People thought that was too long. We developed it. It became known the next time as Kitty Hawks. And that was just a designated 4-week program where we looked at etiquette, measuring, and some explanation about what it meant to go into club championships and things like that, because that's this whole blurry world for people that have never played bowls. So I've only got 2 minutes to finish, so I will continue on here. No particular strategy for the men. It happened more organically because we have a great bowls coordinator. People involved are just the people that were involved in our club and running it anyway. We didn't have anyone extra except perhaps the VP recruitment and development, who at the time happened to be me. And I want to finish about the X factor in our club. Because I think that's significant in gaining and developing our membership. And that X factor is about the culture. It's fun, it's encouraging, people look after each other. It is a place that you really, really want to go to. And it is, yeah, you've got to have fun. Last two, that just gives you a graph that shows you how our membership has improved, the men on the top, the women on the bottom, and our revenue from bowls. And that's how you can contact us if you want to learn more.
Thank you, Wendy, and such a fantastic presentation. And congratulations to Lowlands, not only on the award for Club Innovation last year, but for everything you're doing with the club. It's just fantastic. With these great initiatives, we'll keep that going now with Nambucca Bowls Club and Graham Porter, who will come and speak about their initiatives. Thank you, Graham.
Okay, well, thank you, Billy. With our first slide up here for Nambucca, it's just a bit of an overview of what our club is and where we're situated. So if you look there, you'll see that we're on the mid-north coast. We are a seaside town. And if you look, we are a very small town as well. There's only about 7,000 population or just over. And within that, the median age is around about 57 years of age. So we are getting a little bit older as we go along. In our town, we've got 4 major clubs and 1 half club. I call the surf club sort of a half club because they don't have a license or anything like that. But when you look at the demographic there, we're a small town, but we've got a lot of competition, not only with the clubs itself, but also there's a couple of hotels. So our club itself, we have a bowling club within a club, and I'm part of the main club as far as that's concerned. But if you look at all of our board members are bowlers, and it's very, very important to us. The other part about our club, our membership is around about 1,600. And our bowling members are about 160, 165. In that, we have 13 umpires and we also have 5 coaches. And those 5 coaches are 5 coaches for normal bowlers, but we also have 2 coaches for arm bowlers as well. So there's a little bit of difference between the coaching and that sort of thing as we go. So on to our next slide. And this one here, our board, what happened with our club, just to give you a little bit of an insight. In 2022, we had to turn our club around. There were the previous board and previous management. Let's just say that they resigned due to poor performance. We won't go into that. There's no need to. But it left us with a lot of work to do, and which we all took on, the 7 board members. With the 7 board members, we offered a wide range of expertise. In that, two of our board members were greenkeepers. We had a tradie. We have a couple of ex-school teachers. And as you would all know, that having a couple of ex-school teachers, they have exceptional communication and organisational skills. I'm not saying that fun and cheek. I am saying that they do have those exceptional skills. And a couple of business executives as well. So we actually put some of our board members into different areas and different categories, which we were best suited to. Having the Greens people, they were great outside, and if you look at the exterior of our club at any time, it is very much pristine. With that, we had to get help from because we didn't have any office staff or staff as they resigned as well. We had to get help from other areas, and the local golf club, we approached them and we got those guys to come in and help with our administration and all of those sort of things so that we could continue to set up and get things going again. With that, our clubhouse itself, we had to get into get some cosmetics done. So the roof had to be completely redone because it leaked like a sieve. We had to then also make the bar worthy for people that we employed so that they could actually be safe behind the bar. There are a lot of trip hazards and things like that. So we had to work with those sorts of things as well. And we've done that in a short time. Our club, our roof is done. The back of bar is done, and we've also done completely redone the front of the bar. We tried to do the kitchen, but we learnt that we're not real good at that sort of stuff. So we leased the kitchen out, and we now have a good kitchen. And if you don't have a restaurant that's worthy, it makes it very, very difficult again. So you need to get all of that sort of stuff, and it has to work for you. So some of the things that we did to try and enhance our opportunity within the local community was to really involve the local community as much as possible. Bring the community to you or go to it. So what we did, we held an expo. So we invited other entities within the town, whether they be service clubs or whatever, it might be just sporting clubs, to come, have a stand, have it in our clubhouse, and get the local community to come in, have a look at what they've got to offer, and put them in with us as well. So it gave us an opportunity to get more people within our clubhouse, but get them used to coming in, because, you know, there's an old adage that people are like sheep. And if you can get them to come once, try and get them back again and continue to do that sort of thing. So, you know, like if you ask somebody, where do you shop? They say, I shop at Coles, or I shop at Woolworths, or where do you go for a beer? I go to the Nambucca Bowling Club. That's what we wanted. That's what we got from those sorts of things. And with that, there was over 50 groups that came in and did that with us. Some sponsorship and stuff like that we needed to get into. We got one of our ex-school teachers to get into that, and he has done an exceptional job. We've had him out into the local community, and he's gone off to the business houses and asked for sponsorship, but he gave people a 3-tiered sponsorship. So you could be a a platinum, a gold, or a silver, and they're all different price ranges. But not only with that, he also gave people the opportunity to become a 12-month, a 2-year, or a 3-year. So in that, yes, he's tiered it, and in this year alone, he's raised over $30,000 just in sponsorship, which then we put into the bowls itself. We put into our bowls club. We've initiated some other things that we needed to get done. Sundays there was nothing on at the club, and the club was very, very quiet. So for 4 months of the year, but originally we decided that we'd run mega raffles for the full year. But we soon learned that people got a little bit sick and tired of coming to mega raffles once a month for the full year. So now we run it in the times where people might want to come out, like to Christmas. So we're running it over a 4-month period, just up until the end of January, and that's once a month. With the mega raffle, we have a couple of major prizes, and we actually we started originally with $4,000. We've now just increased it to 5, which will include a membership draw that has to be won, or actually it'll be 3 membership draws that have to be won. So spaced out on time and that sort of thing. We also got involved with some sponsorship for local sporting events with the AFL. AFL was a really good opportunity for us because they started with the younger children and go all the way through, and that's all one club. So if we went with other sporting events, they had their seniors and they had their juniors, but these guys were all one club. So it was beneficial to us, sponsor them, and then for them to come back, and they really do hone in on our club, and we're starting to get a few extra bowlers out of that area as well. And we also got involved with the Nambucca River Jockey Club. Okay, so on this slide here, you'll notice that we've got some fully sponsored bowls events, but if you have a look on the other side, it's some of the listings of some of the learnings that we've got from things that we've done, things that we've done well, and things that we need to work on. So there are quite a few learnings there. We've got what we call a new carnival called the Pots of Gold. Now, that's an open gender, and it's run midweek over 3 days. We've got some shirts here. My wife's just brought up some shirts. This year, we've also, with this week, we got the local Aboriginal community involved, and they do all the artwork for these shirts. That shirt there is last year's shirt, and that was done by them. And we also got a lot of our sponsors, and the sponsors not only sponsor one event, but they sponsor different amounts of events. So if you look at some of the people on there, they might have paid $5,000, but they might be sponsoring about 4 or 5 different events that we hold throughout that. And this shirt is this year's shirt. So that that starts next week. So yeah, it's an initiative that we found that it costs $540 to nominate. There's 3 people involved in your team, so it's triples. And with that, you get yourself a shirt. You get to go and visit some of our local areas, like just some of the local, well, not so much wineries and stuff. We've only got a couple of those, but there are a couple of other places, oyster farms and all of that. So we incorporate the town itself in that with what we're trying to achieve there. Just some of the other programs quickly, as I know I'm running out of time here. We have a schools program, and the schools program this year we've put through 248 students. We've learnt from that we went too hard too quick. We need to be able to cap it and bring it back to a certain level. Just remember, when you do go to the schools and that sort of thing, just a quick touch on that, speak to the right person. Okay, it's very, very important. If you go to the school, there's no use talking to the headmaster, because the headmaster doesn't run the sporting events. So if you're talking to someone, talk to the right person, because that's really important. To bring the schools in, and again, make sure that you do cap them. We went too hard too quick. We had 60s and 80s of children at different times. We had a lot of volunteers come in and help, but it was just too many. So we go to, and we want to include the fact that we're going now to talk to the schools before they come down, and we get the teachers and the aides to come and learn what we're going to go through and give that program all the way through. We are still learning, but absolutely no more than, say, 50. Well, we're saying 40 to 50 per green. Yeah, and look, you have to run different sorts of things for the kids. So you've got all different setups all the way across the greens as well. So they're not just doing one. Yeah, no, they're throwing jacks. They're putting down bowls. They're putting down. They roll things into the soccer balls and all these sorts of things. So there's a lot of different things that you want to try and do with those. Sorry. No, not as yet, but we have a program that's just come back. These are high school children, and there's 18 children at the moment who are really, really keen. But because where we live, some of them live out of town, and it's very difficult to get them in, and they don't have licenses, of course. So again, it's something that we're still working on, but we do hope that out of that 18 of that one particular group, they are exceptionally keen, and we're setting up a program with their teacher to give them the opportunities to come in and then become part of these other school programs. Sorry, Bill. Okay, so just then we also have the disability program, where we went to them again, and we went and asked what they required from us so that they could get onto our greens and what they could use. The arm bowlers, again, we host the arm bowlers in the Mid-North Coast, and they come and they practice on a Monday, and they've run competitions as well. We've reinstated travelling bowlers, and sorry, the arm bowlers we run one tournament. Yes. Well, the tournament ran on a Monday, yes, but that suited them. So it was about them, not about us or anything else. We're trying to work in with what goes on. Social Sundays, just quickly on this one, we always have two coaches on a Sunday. The Sundays are more set aside for our older bowlers, and we revamped it so that we only have a smaller game. Like it might go, depending on the weather, it might go for 10 ends, might go for 12, might go for 20, and depends on how they feel. And it's also for people who are beginner bowlers, and that's why the coaches are there. So I'll just wrap it up there. We do have one inner club tournament for the Gnome Trophy, and that's the Gnome Trophy. Not the trophy. So if you have a look at that, it's between us and Urunga, and they're just up the road, and we play music. We get stuck into it on a Tuesday evening, and it's just all fun and bragging rights. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Graham, and my sincere apologies for having to cut this short, but I do assure you all we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end of this session, as well as after the session too. With that in mind, I'd like to invite our third speaker up, Paul Lewin. Thank you, Paul. It's a bit stiff, isn't it?
It's good, mate. How you going? You might not be able to see me, but you should be able to hear me. I had a heap of stuff worked out here to write, to read out, and listening to the other two wonderful presenters. I think I'm just going to wing a little bit of stuff. So I think the greatest thing that we brought to our club was energy. I turned up at the club 5 years ago. I come from golf, and the first thing I noticed was that we got a $50,000 a year bowling green out there that we use twice a week. So I thought we need to increase that. Like, why was it sitting there, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, not getting used? So I introduced it's called round robin pairs. So it was a game where you just got your own team. We did a draw, and it was on the board, and you could organise your game with your opponents at any time, play during the week, at night, on the weekends, whenever you like. But it was one that suited for everybody, and there was you had a 2-week time frame to get that round done, and then I'd update a ladder every 2 weeks to coincide with the round, so everyone knew where they were. And I think that was a really good initiative for getting the green used and getting a bit of energy into bowls. Like I come from golf, and when I come from golf, a couple of my mates come with me. Might have taken them a couple of months, but then a couple of months later, a couple of their mates come, and a couple of months later, a couple of theirs come. And that was 5 years ago, and only last week I signed up 2 new people that are mates and mates that have just turned up. So from people that have been there a couple of months. So it still works, that, and it is still working. But getting people there is only half the problem. You've got to keep them. Once you get them in the door, you've got to be able to keep the people. So it's got to be fun. It's got to be exciting. It's got to be enjoyable. So we did the Barefoot Bowls Twilight, Barefoot Thursday night business house bowl, some people call it. We turned ours into power play pairs, which is it's like the BPL style. So you play 9 ends. It's teams of 3, but it is pairs. Only 2 people bowl at once. So it's 12 ends, sorry, and you only bowl 8 ends each. So like the player 1 will play the first 4 ends and then sit out 4 and then come back in for the last 4. Player 2 will play the first 8 ends in a row and sit out the last 4. Player 3 sits out the first 4 and plays the last 8. We play 2 sets of 12 like that, and then there's a 1 end tiebreaker of 2 bowl triples if it's a set each. That's been a really, really good comp, very fun. We've got a lot of non-bowlers come in to play it because it is exciting and fun, and there's a lot more, driving or weighted bowls and things like that. There's also bonus points on offer in that. So if you get a 6 on one end and things like that, you get a bonus point. So it makes it a bit more exciting, and that stops people from driving a lot too because they can't lose a bowl in the ditch. So there's a few things that we do there. When I first started bowling, my father-in-law was a bowler, and he used to take me to both clubs. We've got 2 clubs in our town. Sorry, I should have started with that probably. We've got 2 clubs in our town. Our town's got 12,000 people. We've got 2 clubs. One's an experienced and a very achieving club, and the other one is the club I'm at, which was casual and fun. Up until a few years ago, we hadn't really achieved much. But in the last 4 years, we have made state in at least 2 disciplines every year. And in pennants, we've made state in each season in pennants. Different grades, but we've certainly made it every year, which is fantastic for our small little club. We have 364 members and only 86 full playing members. Well, it's actually a good number for us, 86. We have 4 pennant sides. Pennants is something that I find encourages people as well. You get new bowlers in. especially the younger ones, they want that strong competition, that achievement, that reward, that honour of a pennants flag. So when they see everybody else playing pennants, they want to get involved and play pennants. And that's the most asked question by a new bowler. How do I get into championships and pennants? On that, I created a information pack that we give to any new bowler that comes along. It's just a little pack in a plastic sleeve, and it basically just tells you how bowls works, you know, what times we bowl, what days we bowl, what clothes to wear, what shoes to wear, a few little rules, how to get into championships, you know, who to talk to if you're confused, a bit of information about bowls and things like that. So it's just a general information pack so that people can feel more comfortable and welcome at your club. That was very good. All of this only happened because I have a very, very supportive board. They never said, oh, we've tried that before, or how's that going to work? They said, what can we do to help? How do we do this? What do you need from us? And they were very, very good. Sorry, now because I've lost. Another thing that we do is we play music every time we bowl. Every single time we bowl, we've got music played. It might not be too loud. Some days it's a bit louder than others, but we've certainly got music played. On our Wednesday social bowls, we have a random draw. So you put your names down as a single entry, and I have a number generator on my phone. Your order of entry is your number, and random draw. You'll get picked out with whoever you get picked out with, and that seems to work really good. And it certainly gets people to know each other a lot better and to enjoy each other's company more. And we have a jackpot. So every week, $1 from every bowler goes into a jackpot pool. And if your score matches we've got a barrel, like a Keno barrel, if you like, and just roll it around, pull out a marble, and that marble that comes out, if your score on your rink matches that marble, everyone on the rink shares that jackpot, which it's up at $420 or something at the moment. So it actually works quite good. The other thing we did was championship matches. So if you're going to play championship matches, we encourage our members to play championship matches on Friday night after 4 p.m. and we give them free drinks, 2 free drinks each member if they play on a Friday night after 4 p.m. because that gets us about 20 or 30 people sitting there watching them play that wouldn't normally come down. So it's a really good initiative that we brought in last year. We sponsor a lot of teams. We sponsor pool teams, darts teams, cricket teams, hockey teams, music groups, euchre clubs. And another thing that I've done last year was the NRL football team that we have in our town. Anytime they've got a bye, I've got them on that weekend as a compulsory part of their program that all their players must come and play bowls. So it's a fun day for them. We put music on, cook them a barbecue, do all that. But that's 100% a commitment that they have to turn up to play. So it is very good, yes. It gets us a lot of stuff going on. We got a grant for some bowls. It was quite easy to get, to be fair, and Aero looked after us quite well. So we bought 12 sets of lightweight bowls for not only juniors, but we also have 2 disability organisations that come down and have social events at our club regularly. And we just set up bowls for them and do some coaching with them and help them out as much as we can. They tend to look after themselves quite well, and they have a lot of fun. We got sponsorship. We're only a very small club. We've got 4 poker machines. We've got 2 new ones coming because we've progressed in the last few years. But 2 years ago we were nearly broke again. So we bust our ass, pardon my language, to get results and to get some money in the bank. So I did a sponsorship drive for uniforms for new members. Like I noticed you said you give a new shirt to each member. Well, we can't afford to do that. We just literally can't afford to do it. So I got sponsorship for shirts and jackets. So we could at least give them away at like half price or a quarter of the price. So that's another thing that worked well. On that subject, we're actually in the process of amalgamating with our services club. We are doing everything we can bowls wise, but so much of our energy is taken up on the club, and to be honest, we don't know how to run a club. We are strictly volunteers. So we'll leave the club running up to the people that know how to run a club, and we'll go back to running bowls. And that's our last 12 months has been difficult with running the club, and with the success and the more people coming in, the workload's got a lot more. The most important thing is to work together. We have 2 clubs in our town, and both clubs have a TIFF green and a 𝐒𝐿𝐴 green. So we've coordinated for to core our greens at the same time this year, so that next year we can take out our 𝐒𝐿𝐴 green and turn it into TIFF using the cores from their green, and then the year after they'll take out their green and put TIFF in as well. Their 𝐒𝐿𝐴 green and put TIFF in as well using the cores from our green that year. So working in together, you can get a lot of jobs done, and that's half the work for each club, isn't it? Because you've got the other club helping. On a bit of a positive note for our club, our biggest tournament of the year was a $3,000 tournament. It's called the Champagne Triples, and the club used to put in the $3,000. The following year, I got $3,000 sponsored. The following year, I got $6,000 sponsored. The following year, I got $10,000 sponsored. And this year just gone, it was run on the 11th and 12th of October. We got $23,000 fully sponsored. We had 42 teams. It's a tier 3 ranked event, and we literally bussed people up and back to the other club. I had my son driving a bus, and he was bussing them up and back, and we got them up there and back. When you talk about working together, that other club charged us $60 a rink for each rink that we used per day, which I thought very, very harsh. But in saying that, all the benefit of that tournament was ours. Although they did have bar sales on the day, they certainly weren't making the sort of money we made. So in time, it'd be nice to get both clubs together and to do a big tournament like that was actually beneficial to everyone. On that tournament this year, $23,000, yep, fully sponsored. Our club made $14,800. That's the biggest weekend we've ever had in our life. So it's a very proud moment for us. And that's probably it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. And could I just ask everyone again, just please keep the round of applause going for all 3 of our presenters, Paul, Graham, and Wendy. Thank you for the 3 of you. Now, I think we do have, we probably got about a good 7 or 8 minutes or so before the session ends. We'll now open the floor to any Q&A, any questions that anyone in the audience might have for one or all of our presenters. And I've already got one from Paul, so that's great. But I'll go to the audience first, Paul, just in case. Did anyone have any questions? Yes.
Yes, you've picked it. In a city we have time restrictions. We need to finish by 9 p.m. Is it, Tom? Yeah, I'll let Tom answer that.
So in that outdoor entertainment area, we started music, and it's simply a soloist, and they play from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And we still get the one neighbour from nearby ring the club every time they play, and luckily she just sold. So we're hoping that the Min's government will facilitate a change. No, we didn't have the money to buy it, but I mean, it is a problem, and our club's been very proactive in trying to manage that person and appease them, and that's why we only employ a soloist.
Thank you. Any other questions from the floor? Yes. Great. Any other questions for any of our presenters? Yes.
I'm very good friends with the president, and we're working together. Sporting organisations always want something that's in it for them. Like, it's always about them. So with the rugby club, I've got a small business myself, and I'm a sponsor of the rugby club personally. So I used a little bit of that on my side as well. But we just said we'd do everything for them. And I said that I wasn't prepared to do that if 10 people turned up and it was a failure. We're taking time out of our lives to do it. So I asked them for a commitment, and it worked, and it was a really good day. So we did it again. And now it's a done thing. Every bye they only have 2 byes a year. So you're talking 2 days, like it's 2 Sundays, just a few hours. All their kids come down, all the families come down. That's the other thing. Whoever wants to play, they don't all have to play, but they're all there. Quite a few play, most of them, and they change in and out. It's all about fun at the end of the day. It's not like we're scoring really. One thing I forgot to mention in my talk there was that part of the amalgamation with this services club is putting in a kids play area. We've got an undercover barbecue area, which is really good, but we don't have a kids play area. So we're putting in a fully fenced, secured kids play area. And I think that'll be amazing for numbers with families.
Again, any other questions from the floor? Yes, Gary. Anyone anyone like to answer that, or at least provide some insights?
I didn't speak about schools, but I do have schools that come to our club. I've got 2 schools that come to our club, and I arrange them through talking to the sports coordinator at the schools, and they put it in the curriculum. So it's part of it's very good. And they only come on a Wednesday, but we have our volunteers do that. We pick the bowl, the kids that want to bowl and the kids that don't want to bowl. The kids that don't want to bowl, we put them over there with a couple of volunteers, and we just set up some fun things for them to do, and they can bowl and have fun. The kids that actually want to bowl, we put them into little groups and put one-on-one people, not one-on-one, but like one, say I'd be there with 6 kids, and that'd be my group, and then I'd have somebody else with the other 6 kids. So the ones that are keen to bowl, you can spend some time with them. The ones that aren't keen to bowl, and this is why your volunteers don't like to volunteer, because who wants to teach somebody that doesn't want to learn anything? So when the kids are there, they're just skipping school, really. So you just let them go over there and bowl. Just put them on a rink and let them have fun. Tends to work for us.
Yeah, if it's difficult for you to be able to get hold of volunteers, the possibility of offering some sort of incentive, that could help. I don't know your situation, so it's a difficult one to answer. But we would offer, as a club, we would offer something in return, not money, maybe vouchers to your club, where you get the return on it. It might be a $40 voucher, but you cost that out at sell price, not a buy price. So it's not costing you $40. It's only costing you probably $10, So, but that's an incentive, and then that brings them back into your club as well. So they come back in and they spend that money because it's a voucher for your club.
We have a volunteer youth bowls coordinator at Lowlands, who's done the work in terms of establishing the program with the schools and has really personally asked, people to come and volunteer. But I guess it comes back also to that X factor that I was talking about with the club, that it's such a good vibe and spirit at the club that people are happy to put their hands up.
I think we have time for one more question. So,
For the play equipment, it's the play equipment itself. We've fenced it off. We used pool fencing, so it's not at a large cost. It's about $110 for a panel. So with that, again, that gives you a point of difference with those sort of things, because it actually brings that one over there. Look, see that green previously was used by anyway, wasn't used for anything but somebody trying to make $5 for membership funds. But that green now has the play equipment in there. We now at Nambucca, we're the only club that has an outdoor playing area for the kids. You can spend a lot of money with soft fall and all that sort of stuff, but it's not a legal requirement at this stage. You can still just have your chips and that sort of stuff. So, but it's really, really important to bring them in, because we play music out there. We don't have that many problems because we did canvass the area prior to putting that in, and anything else that we do. We send out flyers and we walk around and we do canvass the area to see if there's going to be any issues, and if there are, we like to know about it beforehand. So we give them the opportunity to say no, but they don't say no when you give them the opportunity. So, but it is important. If you can get outdoor opportunities for kids, they bring the parents. Obviously, the parents are the ones that pay the money, but the kids these days aren't the same as what I was. I wasn't game to ask for anything when I was young, but they just now demand it. So it is a good opportunity, yes. When there's competition on, or social bowls, well, we'll give them. It's not. It's done by our professionals, our people who actually work at the club. So the person in charge, if there's an issue, it goes to them. If the parents are there and the kids are there and they're running around, running amok and that sort of stuff, they'll be given a warning. And then if not, then they'll be asked to leave. It's plain and simple. You just don't, you respect you respect the Greens, you respect other people as well. So that's important. Yeah. I don't believe that's anywhere near the case. You're not a Nazi. It's something that you have rules and regulations. So we have posters put up, signs put up, about children have to be looked after by their parents and that sort of thing. That sort of half covers you, but then you just push the button. It's your property. It's not theirs. Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
We may have to just cut it there, unfortunately. We've just run a little bit over time. I want to make sure everyone has time for afternoon tea. That being said, if anyone does have any further questions, all three of our presenters are more than happy to chat. Now, with that being said, as we get out, I'd just like to one more time thank and congratulate our three presenters, Paul, Graham, and Wendy. Thank you all.